Get ready to get shticky. Shticky Situations is sponsored by CoronaCrush. CoronaCrush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search CoronaCrush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Shticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, as you obviously remember, because I'm unforgettable. Please go subscribe or follow on whatever platform you're listening on. If we are not on a platform that you want to be listening on, then you can send me a DM or an email. I'll give you the contact information in a minute. Also, go like Shticky Situations page on Facebook. Follow Shticky Situations Pod on Instagram. Follow Shticky Situations Pod on TikTok. And if you would like to come be a guest on my podcast, you can also send me a DM. We're on, I also put the application to be a guest on all of my posts in CoronaCrush, as you guys know, is our biggest sponsor. So if you're not already part of CoronaCrush, go join the group, find my posts. You can get the application there. You can also get the application on the Instagram. And if you can't find it there, then you can send me a DM at Shticky Situations Pod on Instagram or send me an email at stickySituationsPod@gmail.com. If you would like to date me or any of my single guests, there are applications for those as well. Just reach out. Also on the Instagram page, not too hard to find, or you can send me a DM or email and I'm happy to help. So let's get right into it today, everybody. And we have a really, really special episode. So as I mentioned before, and you guys all know that CoronaCrush is Shticky Situations' biggest sponsor. So there's been some drama in the CoronaCrush group in the last week. This is being released probably like the week after or week and a half after, but it's fine. It's still relevant. There's hundreds of comments. So as you may or may not have seen, and if you haven't seen, go run to CoronaCrush and look, but I'll also read the post. There was a very controversial post from a male about what he's looking for in a female. And there were a lot of comments either defending him, a lot of comments hating on what he said. And we thought the best thing to do would be to get him on the podcast. So everyone, please welcome Chaim onto the podcast. Chaim, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. And I hope this is going to be a really interesting episode. So before we get into talking about your posts and about you and about everything, let's just get some like little things out of the way so my listeners can know who you are. So I always ask my guests when they come on just a few identifying questions. So can you give me your age, your location, relationship status, and religious denomination?
Sure. So my age, I'm 31 years old. I currently live in Brooklyn, New York. As for how religious I am, I would consider myself traditional. I would say I like some things, certain things a little bit too hard for me to keep, but I am definitely more, I have a positive attitude towards Judaism, but I just don't keep everything. So I guess you could consider me old-fashioned traditional kind of concept.
Okay. And relationship status?
Sorry. Our relationship status, that's really changing every day, But no, so I actually met a really nice woman from my post.
Which we will get into. So don't worry, everybody.
It turns out we went out for like 8 hours. It just turns out we just weren't for each other. But there's one thing that is for sure. She definitely looked at the post and said, that's actually what I'm looking for. And that's how we ended up going out. But that's really the synopsis. But right now, we have a couple, there are a couple, I got like, I would say a bunch of responses from my post. And now I'm like going through the list. I know that doesn't sound good, but I guess women have less, I got a lot of, messages, and I guess, both genders get messages, but we can't go out with 80 people at the same time. I personally like to focus on one person at a time. I believe you can't really give your heart to multiple people. So that's where I am right now. So status as of right now, not seeing anybody, but hopefully we'll be seeing someone very soon.
Okay. So single, but dating.
Correct.
Single, but in the game. Okay. So Chaim I mentioned the post. Chaim mentioned a little bit about the post. I'm just going to read you guys the main part of the post and we're going to get right into it. So, as you know, people post themselves or their friends on CoronaCrush, and really you describe yourself, you describe what you're looking for. So, I'm going to read at least the first part of Chaim's post. So, he says, I'm looking for a girl who has traditional values, is kind, has a good personality, and wears makeup and heels. Lastly, I want someone who says thank you after a date. I prefer a woman between 5'2" and 5'7". And then he says what he does for work. First of all, when I saw this post, I screenshotted it and sent it to my friends and laughed because I'm like, LOL. And as Chaim knows from listening to some of my podcasts, and all of you know from listening to the podcast, I probably like don't agree with what he's saying so much, but also like this is a space for respect and letting people share their opinions. So I want to give Chaim the chance to explain. Well, first of all, Chaim, I want to know, do you understand why your post caused so much drama?
I think that question is like the second question that I want to deal with. It's
Okay.
not going in order.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question I have for you
Oh, you
is,
have a question for me?
yes,
Okay, sure.
do you think it is acceptable for a guy to have preferences and things that they are attracted to?
Um, so okay. Again, like I said, I screenshotted the post, I sent it to my friends, and I was like, LOL. I wasn't like, oh my God, this guy is trash. Like, who does he
No,
think
I'm
he
not trying to
is?
put you down. I'm
No, no,
not.
no,
I'm
no,
just.
no. So I do think a man or a woman, like I think, and I was definitely going to get into this in some of my later questions, because I definitely thought of like certain things that like I would post that are my preferences that are like kind of equivalent to what you're saying, in a man, but like I just probably wouldn't post it because I don't know. I just wouldn't. But yeah, I think everybody is entitled to want what they want. I think there are certain things that are attractive to people. I mean, for me personally, like yeah, there are definitely things that like stand out to me when I see a guy, when I see a guy's profile that immediately attract me to him, but a lot of the times I'll still give guys who maybe don't have those qualities a chance because I might like them as a person even though what's on paper isn't exactly what I'm personally attracted to. I don't, does
But
that answer your question?
no, you didn't answer my question.
Everyone's
Do you
allowed to
think?
have their preferences of what they want and what they're attracted to.
Thank you.
That answer your question?
Very much so. So I have seen. I've been dating for almost 10 years, and I have seen many women put outrageous things in their profiles. Outrageous. Okay. There are many, and that's their right. Everyone has the right to put whatever they want and to demand whatever they want. Will they get it? Maybe not.
Demand is a little bit of a strong term. I would say
One
ask
second. Can I
for.
can I can I can I
Yeah.
finish with? Okay. So I think that anybody could write whatever they want in their profile. And when I look at a profile when a woman posts a profile, when I look at a profile, I say, well, is this someone that I could, number one, are they in my league? Is this someone that's reachable to me? Is this someone that will go after me? Is this someone that I have what to offer them? Everybody has something that they are doing that they feel that they have to offer. I am not, when I make a post, I am not here trying to appeal to 24,000 people. I'm here trying to appeal to one person, to find the one person that's right for me. You have to understand, I'm not here, I have tried the personal, and the truth of the matter is, it worked out well for me. They made me into like a martyr per se. All my friends called me and said, I am so proud of you. I'm so happy you did that. Finally, a guy that's putting down some standards, because there's a lot of women that they just go step all over men. And it's okay for, even men, even a lot of women said, had he said that I want a woman that doesn't wear makeup or a woman who doesn't do this, or no one would have said anything. It's because, and most of the people I would say that didn't, that they hated on me, which I don't think I responded to any negative comment. So I was really, really proud of myself. But most of those people, they did not fit those criteria. Of course, I'm looking for someone who's a nice person, a good person, and all these things. Everybody's looking for that. You don't have to write all that stuff. Everybody knows. What guy wants to marry a woman that is not nice?
Some do.
Most don't. I have a friend of mine that I just got off the phone with from MIT last night, and he told me, and this is a guy who's really accomplished, and I would say politically much more liberal than me. And he told me, we both come from Orthodox backgrounds, and he said to me, there's literally no one today. He's like, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very, it's not, when people say they're looking for traditional values, no one's looking to take away a woman's right to vote and go back to the 1920s. No one's looking to put a woman in the laundry room 100 hours a day. That's not what a guy is saying. When a guy says traditional values, what they mean is, if I'm going to spend $175 on a dinner, right, and pay for it, right, which most guys do pay on the first date. I think if you would line up 7, 8 girls or 10 girls, I would say 7 out of 10 of them are probably going to say, I want the guy to pay on the first date. Is that correct?
I mean, my personal preference is that a guy pays. I don't even pretend to take out my wallet on a first date.
Okay, I'm just saying, but if you would line up 10 girls, okay, 7 out of 10 of them would probably say, I want a guy who's going to pay.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's $100 on a first date, whether it's $200 on a first date, whether it's $50 on a first, or whether it's a coffee date, it doesn't make
You're
a difference.
going on fancy first dates. I just get taken for drinks or ice cream, but like
when I go out,
coffee or a walk.
No, I'm not cheap. I'm not cheap. When I go out for dinner because I'm working the whole day. I'm not going to go take a woman out for coffee at 8 o'clock at night.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay. But what those 7 out of 10 women are expecting is a traditional way of dating. So why is it fair? Why is it unfair or sexist, misogynistic, or whatever it may be for a woman to say, I want a guy who's going to pay and be traditional, and why can't the man say, I want you to be a little traditional too and get dressed up? If I'm going to spend $180, right, and I'm walking into a fancy restaurant, I don't want to walk into a fancy restaurant when you look like you're coming from the park.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I think how you're phrasing it while we're talking totally makes sense. And me as a person, like, usually I ask what we're doing for the date and then dress accordingly to that. I personally live in New York City. I will not wear heels on a date. I don't wear heels in general. So I wouldn't wear heels no matter what. But I do my hair, I do my makeup, I wear a nice outfit and like for a date. So what I want to ask you, just as like a clarifier to your post, you're talking about just you want a woman who's going to wear makeup and heels and look nice for a date.
Correct. And in general, for me.
Okay, so what does that mean?
I want a woman who takes care of herself and a woman that will, I will say, because there's a lot of people these days, all the, what's it called again? There's a lot of, even celebrities that are posting, right? No makeup, no this, no that. And it's really, here's the thing. One of those things that I think a lot of people don't understand is that, and I speak to all my friends, okay? And a lot of guys are very afraid to say this because not many guys are able to tolerate 700 negative comments. Not many guys can, okay? And when is the last time a guy did that to a woman? All those women, everyone who's saying, I want a girl who's nice, that is the most unnice thing you can do, right? If a guy says, oh, I want a hot girl, right? And he's not making enough money or whatever it is, you know what a lot of guys are going to say? It's time to man up, right? That's what they're going to say. But you can't tell a woman that. So I'm just trying to say, I'm just trying to say, I'm not expecting to put someone, you know, when it, when people even say, I was actually listening to the podcast, of the other woman who was talking to you, and they were talking about stay-at-home mom and traditional values, right?
Yeah.
When a guy says, "I'm looking for a woman who's going to be a stay-at-home mom," they don't mean the woman they want the woman to be a stay-at-home mom now. They mean is that hopefully the time will come, they'll be able to make enough money and they'll be able to, give their wife that ability and that choice.
Okay.
Okay. Most of the time, most guys today who are saying that, that's really what they mean. Maybe they don't convey it that way, but that's really what they mean.
So right now, I'm giving you a chance to clarify
Sure.
yourself and what you're saying, because in my own personal experience, because I've gone out with lots of men
Sure.
who have said, and some of them have said that they want a traditional wife who's going to stay home with the kids, stay home, keep the house. Personally, I have a career. I worked hard for my career. I worked hard for my credentials. I've been working so hard for the last however many years since I worked hard in school to get to where I am.
Good for you.
Like I dated someone and he told me that he wants me to stay home with the kids. And I said, "What? I'm going to give up my whole career that I've built up?" And he's like, "What about a few years taking off to take care of the kids?" I'm like, I don't know if men understand that even if a woman takes off 4 or 5 years, 10 years to raise a family, that's a major setback in her career.
Can I say something? Okay.
Yeah.
No one is advocating that you make that choice. No one who is saying, I want a woman whose traditional values or whatever, no one is saying that you should make that choice. That's not the right thing for you. But there are women out there who do want that lifestyle. There are women out there that are much more feminine, whether it's good or bad. That's not saying who's better, who's worse.
You're calling me not feminine?
Who are more feminine than you. Yes, there are women out there that are more feminine than you. There's different levels.
I'm a little insulted. Just because
Some
we're
guys
coming
are more.
off of
Excuse
a
me.
Rachel work from home day, look, I don't
Hello.
know. I consider myself pretty feminine, even though I think I
Would you
have a really
say
great career. I don't think that makes me unfeminine.
no? I never said that. That's not what I said. I was saying let's reverse it. Okay. Let's say
Okay.
you have a guy who's an alpha male, but there are
Yeah,
always going to be other guys who are going to be a bigger alpha male.
I guess.
Okay. So the same thing applies on the other side.
I just think the term feminine doesn't really describe what you're describing. I don't think a girl who wants to like stay at home with and raise a family and keep a house is more feminine than a woman who's like killing it in the business world.
It is there is an absolute difference. There is an
No,
absolute
I
difference.
there are CEOs wearing pink suits and heels and tons of makeup
Yeah.
and blonde hair and jewelry and look gorgeous. I
You
would
can
call
look
them super
gorgeous,
feminine.
no question. I'm not saying they can't look gorgeous. They can look. They could be swimsuit models, right? But there's a difference in lifestyle, and there's a difference in what some guys want. And a lot of women, they don't even want to hear that. They want us to hear what they have to say, but they don't want to hear what we have to say.
No, I agree that there are some women. I don't think that it makes them more feminine. I don't think that's the correct terminology. It might make them more traditional, more
Let's use a different word:
okay.
agreeable.
That I don't think that like I also don't like that because that's me agreeable just sounds like
Pushover?
um yeah, it makes
Not
the woman
necessarily.
sound like a pushover.
Not necessarily. There are many women out there who are stay-at-home moms who run the house, who run a lot of things, and they have tremendous say, and their husbands do basically whatever the hell they want. And that's so untrue. There's a lot of people who I know who are stay-at-home moms, and they have when whatever they say in the house goes.
Yeah. And let me clarify to everyone listening, being a stay-at-home mom is hard work.
Very hard work.
I have friends who are stay-at-home moms and like I've had days off where I just like chill with them for the day. I come home like, I think when I was home for Thanksgiving, I had one day off. So I spent it hanging out with my friend and her two little kids, two kids. Her oldest is 2 and the youngest is 6 months. And I spent the day with them. And by day, I mean like 3 or 4 hours. And I came home and I was exhausted. Like what she does is incredible. And stay at home moms do have a hard job. So I'm not trying to negate that at all. I'm
Right.
just saying it's not the life that all women want.
That is 100. I 100% agree.
Listen, I could get behind it if some guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to pay for you to be a lady of leisure and get a nanny and a housekeeper." Like I could like jump on that shit maybe, but like I don't know. Being a stay-at-home mom is very hard.
No, but no one is saying that that's what you should do.
No, no, no. I know. It was mostly a joke, but like,
I understand,
yeah.
but I'm just saying this. When I think a lot of women need to understand this. No one is saying that you need to go live X life. You
Yeah,
can choose to live any life that suits you.
you're just stating your preferences and what you are looking for.
Exactly.
So, along those lines, I just have a question, which is something that I did notice when I saw your post. And then when I read all the comments
Sure.
during my lunch break, because that's what I was going to do, anyways. Um, so, a lot of people pointed out in your post, whether haters or people agreeing with you, a lot of people did point out that you didn't put some other things in your post, like other important things. Like you put that you wanted a woman who's going to wear makeup and heels and what height, but like you didn't put what age range you're looking for, a location, religious level. Did you realize that you didn't put those, or are those just like not important to you?
No, when I wrote that post, I wrote that post. I think it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, or some. I don't even know what. It wasn't at a normal, hour. And I was like, you know what? What the heck? I want to try something different. I'm gonna just post this paragraph, and that's it. Okay. And I was like, I forgot to put my age in, and I forgot to put my height in, and I'm around 6 feet, but
Real
I
6 feet or
real 6 feet.
okay.
Whether
I'll,
it's 5'11",
I'll send the
3.9,
TikTok. I'll
or
send the
six foot
TikTok people
one.
after you. Have you ever
You
seen the people on TikTok going around asking guys how tall they are, and everyone's like,
yes,
"Oh,
I
I'm
know.
6'1". Then they measure them, and they're like 5'8". So,
No, no, no. What's it called again? I'm a big guy. I've been on many TV shows, and the height they measure you over there, okay? Um, but yeah, I mean, I think it comes to a point where also one of the things that I wanted to do was I knew there was going to be pushback. I knew it. I knew a lot of the hardcore feminists are going to go crazy on me. I knew it was going to
so
happen.
you do it to stir the pot?
Now, I did it because you know what? I said, I don't care if people go crazy. I'm looking for the, I'm looking for those, I'm looking for like, I don't even know if it's 10% or maybe 5%. I'm looking for the couple of people that want what I want. And sometimes you have to go write something that will get into people's faces. I didn't, wasn't, I was, it wasn't like when I wrote the post, I wasn't like, oh, this is really going to get people going. I figured, okay, maybe I'll get 50 negative comments and that's it. That's what I thought. You know,
Mhm.
I didn't realize it was going to blow up that way. And I'll tell you, like, I think it's also a little bit of a culture thing, also. There are some people that grow up in a certain culture, whether it's Orthodox, Persian, Syrian, pick your culture, okay? And people go dressed a certain way. And then you have people, let's say, who are Ashkenaz, who, maybe they're somewhat affiliated, or, they do their thing, they don't do their thing. And they just dress differently because they don't hang around certain people. You know what I'm saying? Like I hang around people who go to events, people who wear suits and this. That's who I hang around with. I don't hang around people who are wearing Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah. I mean,
You,
honestly, if I can be really honest with you,
sure.
I saw that comment about like someone's like, oh, he didn't even say his age or location, I looked at you and I was like, he's in his 30s and he lives in Brooklyn. I already know.
Sounds like a plan to me.
And he's like,
First of
probably
all,
grew probably grew up like Flatbush religious and is probably more traditional. So, but I'm good at stereotyping.
that's
Um,
fine. That's fine. That's totally good. And I'll tell you the truth. Anybody with my profile is 100% public on Facebook. Anybody went to my
oh, I
Facebook
didn't even click
profile,
in your profile. I just saw the post and I was like, oh yeah.
I understand, but anyone can go to my profile and they can see my birthday. I think my phone number is public.
It's
Um,
kind of dangerous.
yeah, my phone number is public. Come on, I deal with people all over the place. What are they gonna do? They're gonna track me down and kill me? Come on.
No, I just unpleasant bombarding. Actually gets me to my next question.
Sure.
Or if you were in the middle of a thought, we'll
No,
give
it's
you a
okay.
chance to finish. Did you read all of the comments?
I read how I would say three-quarters of them.
Okay. And I mean, at least when I was reading them, honestly, when I read them, I didn't read all 700. When I was reading them, they were at like 200. So I saw that you didn't respond to any, at
No.
least when I read it. So I'm assuming you still did not actually respond
I
on the
think there's like
actual post.
one person I said, "Oh, thank you for your support," and I have a date set up. But I didn't respond to any negative comment.
Okay. So
I
then
liked a
that,
couple of comments, but I didn't respond to because you know why? I felt like put it this way: I'm not gonna go, give someone's dumb comment the light of day. You know what I'm saying?
mhm.
That's the way I see it. I think it's what bothers me is that I would say it's very sad that like I think there's a lot of guys who are like me, a lot, okay, and they're not treated well. In general, men are not treated well in the dating game. They're not. Okay, I'm not talking about the 10% who get all the girls. Okay, yes, the 10% who get all the girls, they okay, fine. I'm talking about the 80% who don't like get laid every night. Okay, most of those guys they don't get treated right. They want to like make certain posts, but like they're afraid. Many men are afraid to be, I would say, bullied is one word. Uh, Embarrassed is another word. Um, Humiliated is another word. There are many men who are very afraid to write what they want, and I think that's a problem because there's a lot of people who are afraid to write what they want, and that's preventing them from meeting like-minded people and getting married.
So from what you're saying, that means like I should go and write exactly what I want
Yes.
and say like, oh, I want a guy who makes X amount of money, is gonna pick me up in a car, take me on this type of dates, um,
Yeah, right. 100%.
is gonna buy me this type of house. Once is like basically, I
You
don't
have
even
to.
need to see a picture. I just need to see the last 3 years tax returns.
A lot of women, that's the case, anyways.
Yeah, but I'm not actually going to say that because, like, at the end of the day, I'm looking for like a quality human being. And, like, okay, you know what? Yes, my preference is that my preference is a guy who makes good money, but like, I also make good money. But at the end of the day, I would rather have someone who I get along with personality wise and who is a good person. Like, you can't really trade that in for money. And
I
like
agree. I
and like
agree.
I could have years ago. I could
I
have and I didn't. So
I go
I
ahead.
don't know, cuz I think on the one hand, yes, you're saying exactly what you want, but what if you don't know what you want? What if you think you know what you
If you
want?
don't know what you want, then you shouldn't be dating.
No, no, no. That's not what I'm saying at all. Everyone has their preferences and knows what
Sure.
they think they want, but sometimes somebody comes out of nowhere and surprises them. And like I can tell you from my own personal like past relationships, the guys who I dated for extended periods of time were never the types of guys I thought I would, and they actually taught me more of what I wanted. Like, you go into dating, you're like, okay, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like that, this is what I think I want. And then you meet someone who just shows you a whole new side of everything. And you're like, oh, actually, I really liked that quality in that person. I really liked that he did this and that. And like, that's what I'm taking. And I think you learn more from your dating experiences. But like, had I just been set in my ways, I wouldn't have even given those guys a chance.
Okay, now I think there's a tremendous difference that you're not understanding what I'm trying to say. Okay, because you could have a list of things that you want, okay, but you're never going to get everything on your list. If you can get 70 to 80% of what you want, and 20% you have to like, okay, fine, I'll take this or I'll take that. I really don't want that, but he has A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So you know what? It's good enough. Or he has this combination. That is the way marriages work. That's
Yeah,
what
but
people
what
commit.
I'm saying is if you're so stuck on the superficial, then you might miss out on really, really quality people. Like if I'm only dating guys who are in a certain tax bracket, I might miss out on the best guy of my life.
There's a tremendous difference. Okay.
I
Okay.
don't think there is.
Yes, there is. There's a tremendous difference. Okay.
What if your future wife would never even buy a pair of heels? Like, what if she's out there, she matches you in every other way, but she refuses to wear heels? What
Then
if?
that's something that I would talk to her about, or something that maybe I probably wouldn't have gone out with her. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, and then you're just
But
missing out on the love of your life and your chance at happiness.
one second, okay? You think happiness is only personality A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's wrong. Okay, happiness for a guy is not what happiness is for a woman. Okay, guys have a vision. This is what kind of girl I'm looking for. I'm looking for a girl who dresses like this, who has this kind of appearance, who gives off this kind of aura, etc. Guys are like that. Guys are visual. We say, I like a girl who looks like this. I like a brunette. I like a blonde. I like this. I like that. Men are like that. They don't tell you because it's not politically correct, but men are like that.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree that men are like that, and I have an abundance of guy friends who I've spoken to about this. You guys can all go listen previous episodes. We talk about things like that. But I also think not all of them, like if a girl is a like let's say a guy says I need a girl who's a size 2. Guess what? She has a baby, she's not a size 2 anymore. So what does that mean? You're just going to go and cheat on her after she births your child and is
Let me
no
ask
longer a
you a
size 2?
question. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of a guy who drops a girl because she doesn't make enough money? Is that a
No.
common thing? But girls drop guys who don't make a lot of money or who lose money. So we
Mm,
should say the same thing. We should say the same exact thing. Wait, if he loses his job, you're not going to love him anymore? If he loses his job, you're going to cheat on him? What are you
I
going to say to
mean,
that?
personally, no, because personally, I hope the
Because you
guy
have
I
to
end
be
up
a
with,
nice
I
woman.
love for him. And if he loses his job, then we figure it out together because we're in it together. Um, but okay, I want to continue discussing this,
Sure.
but we also need to take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. Shticky Situations is sponsored by CoronaCrush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk to join CoronaCrush. CoronaCrush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. CoronaCrush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the CoronaCrush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. CoronaCrush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Shticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri-state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in-store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929-376-9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world. Okay, we are back. So, Chaim, I have a couple other questions just regarding your post. And so I think I was getting to asking you. So you said you read most of the comments, you replied to a couple of them, but none of you didn't want to engage in the people who were giving you hate. Did you get a lot of messages, and what were the nature of the messages? Was it were all the messages just like people interested, or did you get like hate messages? Like what was that like?
Sure. I got about, I think it was seven women,
Okay.
maybe something like that. One woman was a very nice. One of the women wanted me to go out with her daughter. It just wasn't for me. She was too religious, but she was a very pretty girl. The guts, or I would say,
Chutzpah.
yeah, I was gonna say something else, but yeah, that anyone has you know the word, okay?
Yeah. I'm gonna go
Okay,
with chutzpah though.
yeah, I'll go with chutzpah, right? But that doesn't mean, but it was what they basically did was is that they alienated tons and tons of people and tons of guys, tons and tons of guys, and not only that, all my friends, we actually took pictures. Okay, not me, but all guys do. They take pictures of all the women who said negative things, and all those women who said negative things. Guess what? They're not going to get any dates from guys like us.
I mean, I don't think it's a good match anyways,
I'm just saying,
but
but
well,
it's
hopefully like all your friends will take screenshots when I comment. I just have one comment that I'm gonna make on the post, and that's gonna be the link to this podcast episode. So hopefully they'll spread that one around.
no.
But
I'm just trying to be,
yeah, no, I get it. And I do just want to say, because I don't on it, obviously, like we have two different ways of seeing. I do agree with you to the extent that everybody is entitled to their
That's
preferences.
okay, 100%.
But I do just want to clarify something that you said previously, and I think I did touch upon it, but
Right.
during our intermission, I my team and I were just talking, and like we did have previous episodes where I've sat down with other guys, and I'm not saying all guys this, all guys that. Everybody's different. Everyone has their own preferences. Everyone has what they want. But just for like the girls listening out there, and Chaim, to tell you, like all guys are different. Guys have very different preferences for women. Women have very different preferences of men. Like
100%.
you ask me what I want versus what my friend wants versus what a random girl in CoronaCrush group wants. Like it's all different things. So we're just talking about right now Chaim's preferences and what Chaim's saying. So I just want to like make sure that I'm clarifying that we're not saying this is all men. We're not saying this is all women. We're just saying
100%.
like these are our two. This is just the two of us talking. It's our two opinions.
100%.
So okay, wait. So of the women who messaged you that were interested, so you talked about the women who messaged you who were interested. Did people message you like with like negativity, or did they just keep that in the comments?
No, the people who messaged me were all supporting people.
Okay, so the people who were you didn't get any hate mail.
No.
Okay. I just wanted to know.
No.
Okay, so you said that you went out with one woman. I don't know if you want to talk more about that. You
I
totally don't
don't
have to.
I don't think it's a good idea. I mean, I didn't really get her permission, so I don't want to I don't think it's the right thing to do.
That's fine.
So I think we should, I'm happy to
Yeah.
answer questions. One thing is for sure, okay? One of the things that she did tell me is, she specifically reached out to me because of what I wrote, because it's because the way she was Russian, or it's actually Ukrainian. And the way she viewed it was, you want to be around a woman who's very feminine. And that's the way she viewed it. In fact, there's another woman who's also Russian, who lives in Moscow, in the comments. And she said, I don't see the big deal of what you said, which was me, which is what I said. And they were basically, a lot of people were saying, that, oh, I should hire an escort. And then basically they said, this other woman said, so wait, if I'm a stay-at-home mom, that makes me an escort? And they basically didn't really have an answer to tell this woman, right? So besides for going after me, they went after an innocent woman. Okay, so I could give. I'm just saying, it comes a point, and one woman said I should be thrown out of the tribe. One woman said that I'm an abuser. I mean, like, you don't mean like. I think one of the admins actually said, I think it's a little far to say that someone's an abuser from a post. I think it's like taking it like a little too far. But listen, you can't like control people's thoughts, and you can't tell people what to think and what to do. So if that's what they feel they want to do, and that makes them happy, and that gives them their emotional release or whatever it is, then I guess so be it. But I think it's very sad.
I mean, I think to your point, I will say, like, reading the comments and everything, it is always, I'm not condoning or condemning anyone or anything on here. I'm a completely neutral, like, I'm interviewing, we're having conversation. I
I
express my
understand.
own opinions. I mostly read the comments for entertainment. Again, I was in my lunch break,
I
scrolling
understand.
on my phone. I'm like, oh, this will be my entertainment for the hour. But I will say I didn't love seeing all of, like, as the Jewish nation, we get a lot of hate from the outside world.
Yes,
So it is really hard seeing Jews hating on one another. Um,
I
so
agree.
I just want to put my own personal message out there for everyone listening. Like, even if you see someone, and as you guys are hearing so far in this podcast, Chaim and I don't really agree. Like, we are coming from two different standpoints, but I think there's a way of having conversation and respecting one another. And as Jews, it is very hard to see when Jews hating on other Jews and Jews like saying like really terrible things about other Jews, both ways.
I
Whether
agree.
it's other commenters hating on commenters, commenters hating on Chaim, like anybody who's spreading hate, there are ways to say things, even if you don't agree. Everyone knows the joke. You get two Jews, you have three opinions. Like, everyone has an opinion. Jews love to argue. There's a lot of books about it. Just open the Gemara about arguing. But there
Sure.
definitely is a way to say it. And just like Shticky Situation Nation as a whole, like, I would hope if anyone had criticisms for me and how I do this podcast and anything I say, they would say it respectfully instead of just sending me blatant hate. So that is what I do want to say about that.
Sure.
So, and then just my last question about the post, and then I'll give you an opportunity to say any of your last thoughts on it. Do you have any regrets?
No.
Okay. Not even not saying your age, location, or religious level.
Well, I wanted to be safe just in case, just like my phone number, like you said in my I didn't want the women to come after me and track me down and kill
Oh,
me.
they
So that's
will.
the reason why I
They will
didn't
find you and they will
tell
get
me.
you. I'm just kidding. I don't know who has time for that.
No, I'm happy with what I did. I think it was the right thing. I think it was also very good. It was good. It was the right thing for me, and I think it was also very, very inspiring for my friends. I think I have a lot of friends who reached out to me who were saying, I don't have guts to do what you did, but I'm glad that there are still people out there who are willing to say their preferences without the fear of being shamed and saying that they are horrible people and not having to deal with I guess you can call it, not I wouldn't say Jewish cancel culture, but I would say, without being humiliated and shamed, they were able to see it. I think a lot of people, a lot of men, wanted to see that. Um, and I think, listen, I'm all for. I wish everyone, I don't harbor any ill will towards anyone who criticized me or whatever. I sincerely hope everyone finds happiness, and I hope everyone finds, you know, what they're looking for, and they are truly happy, until until the day they die. And I wish them the best. I'm not here to, I'm not, I'm not. One of the things is I think one of the things that I was very proud of myself is that I didn't like getting engaged with those people, because had I engaged with those people, I think I would have had more personal anger. The fact that I didn't really have any like particular feeling. Is more like, okay, you want to write, you write, go write what you want to write. But listen, I wish them all the best. I hope they find what they're looking for. Um, and I hope they find happiness.
I hope everyone finds happiness. But if you have stories along the way, apply to be a guest on Shticky Situations and come tell me your stories. So, Chaim, is there anything else do you want to say about the post before we move on?
Well, what else do you want to ask me?
That was the last of my questions
Oh,
about the
anything else I
post.
want to say?
About the post.
Um, I would say the only thing is that, I think the only request I have is that whoever the next guy might be, or a mini me, or whatever you want to call it, is just to go easier on the next guy. That's I guess my only request.
Okay. I do want to say something. I just remembered something that was funny that my team and I were talking about during the break. Um, it's funny that you say that you want a girl who wears makeup, because I've had so many guys who tell me they love the natural look, even though they don't realize that the natural look tends to like come with makeup. So I just thought that was it was just a funny thought that came about. A lot of guys I know say that. Guys who I've personally dated and I've personally liked have said that. I mean, I always have the natural look. I'm just naturally amazing. So, but anyway,
If
um,
I say I'm naturally amazing, oh my God,
but listen, you're not at my level. I'm sorry. Like, not everyone can be me.
That's
Um,
right.
okay, so Chaim, I thought it would be fun. I know most of this podcast was to talk about the post and everything, but I wanted to know, do you have any other funny dating stories that you want to tell? Also,
I do.
is there a
I have one.
story that comes behind the saying thank you?
Oh,
I guess is back to the post, but that was
let's see. Thank you. You know what it is it's like this really happened. Like I don't really have any dating stories per se. I mean, not on this. I have like a joke that like happened like on a date that like
Mhm.
because I used to do a lot of stand-up comedy.
Okay.
And basically, I'm not a guy who drinks. I'm not a drinker. I never liked it. It's just I wasn't raised with it.
Mhm.
And I basically said, how the fact that I don't drink, it's hindering my dating success because, you know, I'm not able to mingle in certain circles. So I was once on a date and a girl asked me, and I asked the girl, I said, what kind of drink do you want? And she said, go get me a Sex on the Beach. And like, you were like actually like by the pier. And I was like, why do I have to get you a, that I'm right over here,
And what did she say?
She laughed.
Yeah.
Um,
Wait, why, if you don't drink, why did you take a girl out for drinks?
that's where she wanted to go. So I took her.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I've talked about this on previous episodes. That's a pet peeve of mine when a guy asks me out for drinks, then we get there and he's like, "Oh, I don't drink." I'm like, could have done something else. Because like I'm not the biggest drinker either, but also like nobody wants to drink alone. That's dumb.
I hear you.
Yeah.
I hear you.
Okay, so wait, let's hear some dating stories then.
Dating stories.
Yeah. I don't have to tell anything too crazy, but we have a little bit more time, so I figure at least give my listeners
The
a
worst
story.
dating story was,
Yeah.
so it was actually my shortest date in my life.
Okay.
So I'm sure you ever hear of this website called Talkify.
No.
So it's like a non-Jewish matchmaking service for, like, they have Jewish people, non-Jewish people. They have all different types of people.
Interesting.
And this matchmaker called me up and said, "Oh, your profile, it matches one of my clients. Let me set you up." I was like, "Okay, fine, blind date." I went on blind dates. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm like, "Okay, fine." I come to the date, and like, she was a nurse or whatever, something like that, and I don't know how we got into the. I think we started talking about the vaccine, but I didn't like. I told the what's it called again, the matchmaker, that I voted for Trump because I'm in the energy business. I'm not going to go vote myself out of business. You understand?
Yeah.
So, and then like after like time, I guess our politics came out, and she was progressive, and she ended the date after like 5 minutes of talking.
Oh
But
wow.
it was actually my cheapest date because I didn't have a chance to order anything, so I got away scot free.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
5 minutes. That's a good record
yeah.
in person.
5 minute date. That was actually like a speed date, but I didn't have to go to a speed date.
Yeah.
Yeah, honestly, like, one of the things that I think is uh something that, listen, there are things that guys have to work on, and there are things that women need to work on. No one is perfect. But if you want to hear the male's viewpoint, because I'm sure everyone always hears the women's viewpoint, is that I could take out a girl and spend $150, and I would say about 75% of the girls do not say thank you.
Really?
No, I promise you. And I could bring you loads of guys who will say the same exact thing.
I think that's great. Like for me,
You
like
don't have to believe me.
no, no,
I could, I could,
I believe what you're saying. It's your
I
own
could bring
personal
you.
experience. It just shocks me because even for a guy who buys me an ice cream or a coffee, like I say thank you in the moment. I say thank you when we leave, like thanks again. Um, if I send a thing, like if there's texting afterwards, I'll say, oh, thank you again, whatever. Like
They
there's
don't do
at
that.
least two or three thank yous involved when when a guy takes me out on a date,
No, I promise
unless
you.
I pay, and then he's not hearing from me again.
A girl, I have. I never let a girl pay. That's not the dynamic I'm looking for. I'm not looking for a woman to pay for my dinner. I don't. What is it going to do for me? It's not for me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying is that, even when you meet a guy, and let's say you think the guy is ugly, right? Let's say you think the guy is ugly, crappy job, you don't want to see him again. Okay,
I've
maybe he
been
was
out with
good.
tons of those.
Okay, I'm sure you went out with tons of those people. Okay,
I
okay.
still say thank you.
The right thing to do is, it was so nice to meet you. Have a great night, and you be courteous, and that's it. And then when you get home, you can text the guy. It was nice meeting you. It's not a match. That's all you got to do. You don't have to ghost. You don't have to. It's If you can't be mature enough to do that, then there's a problem.
No, I
You
always do.
okay? I'm not saying you don't. I'm not
No, no,
trying
I
to
know you're
accuse you.
talking about,
Okay?
but I think that goes for guys too, because like I've been ghosted by guys, and so many of my girlfriends have been ghosted by guys, and like yeah, a guy spends money on a date, but like girls do like okay, I guess there are girls who just roll up to a date and whatever they're
A
wearing.
lot,
But
a
like,
lot.
but in my experience and from my friends, like we all like send each other pictures of outfits, deciding what to wear on dates, spend time and
You're
effort
from the
and
heavy
money
minority.
on makeup. And even like someone like me, I hate wearing makeup. I hate doing my hair. I will do my hair for a date. I will put makeup on. I will wear nice clothing. And like
You're from the heavy minority.
I don't I feel like a lot of girls, I don't know. Well, it depends. I guess it depends on the date. Like I in general, like you're saying a nice restaurant. I'm sure you tell a girl in advance that you're going to a restaurant. Maybe you tell her
Worse,
the name of the restaurant. Like
worse.
even if I were to go to a restaurant with my friends, unless it's like a takeout place, whatever, I'm
No,
gonna put on a nice outfit. Maybe I won't do as much makeup or do my hair as nicely, but no matter what, if I'm going to a restaurant, I'm usually looking presentable no matter who I'm with. But like, I don't know. I do agree with you in the sense that like on a date, I think both parties should be put and mind you, I have shown up to dates like looking very nice in a pretty outfit, hair, makeup done, and the guy like looks like a mess. So
I am sure. Listen, most guys don't know how to dress, and that is a tremendous problem. Okay, it is so easy to know how to dress these days. You go on Pinterest, you have YouTube. There's so many options to learn. It is so easy. If you don't know how to dress, go to Macy's. Ask the salesman, the saleswoman. I don't care. There's no excuse today.
yeah, I think what we're both saying is that both parties when you go on a date should be trying to put their best foot forward. And it's not
Correct.
saying like, oh, the superficial is the most important thing, but on a date, you're meeting like just like a job. I view dates as job interviews, except for I'm the interviewer. So, but like even when I at one of my jobs, I was in a position where I did interview people, and yeah, it was on Zoom, but like I still like made sure to look presentable. And if it had been in person, I would have looked very professional and everything. So like just like you wouldn't go, and I have done multiple job interviews as an interviewee. So just like you're going to a job interview, you should be putting your best foot forward because like it's like an interview for the most important job you'll ever have in your entire life.
It's the
So
most important decision you're ever going to make.
yeah. So at least there's something we can both agree on.
100%.
Once I'm dating a guy, like if he's just coming over to my apartment and we're gonna
Of
watch a
course,
movie and
of
order
course.
takeout,
And
I'm not putting on makeup.
no one is telling you
I'm
should
not
put
doing my
makeup.
hair either.
No one
But
is saying about my post. No one is telling a woman that she has to shower in makeup. Okay, and
yeah.
you
I
understand? No
mean,
one
some
is.
people it didn't clarify like your post
Come
like
on, it's
it
this
could be
is
taken as such. Not
okay.
showering in makeup, that's counterintuitive.
Okay, I'm
But
just saying. Okay, no one's saying you have to. No one is saying that you have to have. You get what I'm trying to say. Most people know, okay, that when a guy says, "So I want a woman who wears makeup and heels," that kind of stuff, it means that when they go out to a wedding, she's going to go a certain way. When they go out to dinner, she's going to go a certain way. And when she goes out for an anniversary party, she's going to go a certain way. When she goes to a bar mitzvah, she'll go a certain way. It's a way of what's the word for it? It's not just self expression. It's like people need to understand is that your dress code and the way you look is a reflection on the person that you're with.
yeah, I
Okay,
think the way that you look and the way that you act.
100%. Okay, so it's not just like you know there's there's a certain amount of both parties need to put in effort into looking their best. And you want to, it's like a guy has to stay in shape, or a guy has to do whatever the guy has to do, or a woman should do whatever they have to do. This should not be controversial.
I mean, certain details might be controversial, but I think what we're saying as a general, like putting
Yeah,
your best foot forward, and
correct.
maybe
Yes,
like some people's best foot forward doesn't line up with someone else's best foot forward.
that's
Like,
100%.
like we could have very different interpretations of best foot forward. For me personally, I just like to see someone putting in an effort because I know I'm going to be putting in an effort. So I like the reciprocation. And if I don't see someone putting in an effort, guess what? I'm not going to put in effort.
But you see, but it's more. It's also more than that. When a woman puts an effort, okay, let's take a step back, right? Saying thank you is a form of appreciation.
Yeah.
Okay. For many guys, okay, when a woman gets dressed up for a date, guys appreciate that. Guys say, you know what? Even if she's not for me, you know what? She got dressed for me. I paid the bill. I did this. I did that. But you know what? Okay, it didn't work out. But we both had a good time. We both have an experience, etc., etc., etc. Okay, it's a matter for guys think, women think when a guy says appreciation, that means sex. That's not true. Not every guy is just looking to get laid. It's not true. It's false. It's so false. I have a friend of mine, okay, who is a plastic surgeon, okay, and he's dating a girl, and he's probably going to break up with her. And the only thing that this woman has is she throws herself at him every single time. He's not interested in it. Guys don't just want you. If you want to hold a guy, you need to have another thing that you bring to the table besides for sex. You have to have your mind. You have to have, whether it's looks or whether it's your personality, or there's other things. You can't just give a guy sex and expect to hold the guy. There's much more to it. Guys want to feel that we're appreciated. We want to feel that you actually 50% care about us. We're not asking for 100%, but maybe 50% you care about us. Show something. You want, do something. Not everything is expensive. It's not everything is about money that you spend. My sister, when she went out with her husband, she after a couple of days, she baked him a couple of chocolate chip cookies. And you don't have to be a genius now. You can go buy the cookies in the freaking refrigerator and put them in the oven. Okay, that's not the point. There's these small things. How a woman looks at a guy. These are the small things that guys love.
Yeah, and if you guys want to hear what girls love, you can listen to all my other episodes.
Exactly.
Because there's tons of things that girls love too. But we're running out of time a little bit here.
Yes.
So Clem, I just want to get into like our closing, but for real, everybody listen to my other episodes because I do say a lot of things that girls love. A lot of my guests are primarily women. So another plug for men or women to come be a guest on my podcast, fill out the application, DM me, email me, whatever you want to do. Find me on Facebook from my CoronaCrush link. Any of that. Come be a guest on my podcast. You can share your own preferences. You can share your own stories, everything. That's just a little plug there. So before we wrap up the episode, client, this is something that I ask all my guests to just at the end of each episode. Can you give my listeners one piece of dating advice?
Be nice to the person that you're dating. Be thankful, smile, be gentle, because there are many guys, including myself. We have went out with girls. It didn't work out, but there are certain girls out there that we love and respect because they were nice to us, and just that the fact that they were nice to us. That's it. Just be nice. I know it sounds so basic. I know, okay? But people who actually stayed the full day, people who actually said thank you at the end of the day, all those things that constitute being a nice woman on a date, even if you say no to that guy, he's going to go and talk to his friends and say, I went out with this girl. She said no to me, but I'm telling you, she's such a nice girl. You should, if you can get her, I'll be happy for you. Because let me tell you something, guys are happy for other guys when they get a girl that they like. We're not jealous. When a guy gets a girl, we all say to another guy, score. And we're, oh, good luck, man. We're like so proud of the other guy. Okay? So if you are nice and gentle and have good, have a good presence and are just a good person on a date, this person may not be for you, but these guys talk about the nice women. Because I'll tell you, out of all the women that I went out with, there were very few nice women. Very, very few. I could count them on my fingers. And I went out with over 150 women.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Okay. So be nice. Be
That goes for
thoughtful.
guys too, by the way.
100%. Okay.
Guys need to be nice too. I've gone out with a lot of not nice guys.
100%.
Okay.
Okay.
So we only have a few minutes left. So, Chaim, what is your Real Housewife tagline?
Your
Real house? Did you come up with your Real Housewife tagline?
No, not yet, not yet. I've only been famous about a week so far.
No,
So,
no, no. Meaning, like at the end of each episode, like I said in my message, I asked my guests for their Real Housewife tagline.
ooh,
We have 5 minutes before the recording ends.
I really, I would have to think about that. I got to get back to you on that. I don't have any, any tagline that I would say is catchy.
Okay. So
But
you failed the assignment.
I failed the assignment. I
Failed the
know.
assignment.
I'm a bad student. You
Failed the assignment.
terrible
You didn't do
student.
homework.
I know. Now I have to get I have to get I have to get a principal's note,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay. That's okay. Okay. So we have 5 minutes left. Any quick 30 seconds last final words?
no, just thank you for having me, and
Yeah, thank you for coming on. This has been great. It's always
likewise.
good to have some healthy discussion. And if any of your friends want to come and tell their dating stories, send them my way. I'm always happy to have more male guests. And again, to my listeners, every perspective is different. No two females have the same perspective. No two males have the same perspective. Everyone has different opinions. Everyone has different perspectives. Um, on the podcast,
I
we
just
like
want
to
to
have
say,
healthy conversation. So anyone of any opinion, any background is welcome on the podcast to share theirs. So
yeah,
we're very open.
and I just also want to say one more thing. I'm not saying personally like. I know it sounds like very traditional the way everything that I've been saying so far, but I think there's always exceptions to the rule. And even this past person that I went out with, she was 7 years older than me.
Oh wow.
Okay, so but the fact that she was actually, but I didn't care because there was all these other things that I liked about it. It didn't work out, wasn't we weren't for each other, but you know, it's not everything is set in stone. Not everybody is going to have their opinion, and 85 maybe 85% they are set in stone, but 15% they'll be open to this, open to that, and I think that's healthy, and you know I think the best thing is if we all, whoever listens to this podcast, if it could be a good learning experience for everybody. So even if, let's say, a person listens to the podcast and they say, you know what, I disagree with 95% of what I said, that's fine. I mean, if they could learn maybe 2% from me, or maybe have there's something that I spoke to you about and that I learned from you.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even that's worth it, and even that is a very, very good thing to do.
Yeah. And I think also a good takeaway from that is yes. And this is my whole takeaway from the podcast. And again, only a couple minutes left, but everyone is entitled to have their preferences. Everyone is allowed to express their preferences. Everyone should still be kind to each other. And also, that being said, the devil's advocate of that, not the being kind part, always be kind to each other, especially fellow Jews. But just the devil's advocate of everyone having their preferences, you can have your preferences, but also have an open mind because, like, you never know who you might miss out on. And, like you said, like, maybe you wouldn't have dated someone 7 years older than you or things like that. So, yes, have your preferences, but I also do think it's a good idea to keep somewhat of an open mind.
100%.
So, Chaim, thank you so much again for coming on the podcast. This has been great.
Thank you for
Um,
having me.
And Shticky Situation Nation, I hope you all enjoyed. I am looking forward to hearing your feedback. And if any of you, again, want to come on, shoot me a message, fill out my application, come be a guest on the podcast. And you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.